Good morning.
Well, good morning.
Well, today we're talking about choosing a realtor, and this is really the beginning. This should be your first step when you're looking at buying a home.
A lot of people love to make their first step Zillow, which
Yes.
we understand that, but it could be a slippery slope.
Yeah, this is the first real step,
Yeah.
right? When buying a home, you're getting off of dreaming about it, and this is the first step towards making it happen.
So let's start out by busting a myth.
I think the first myth, and we're going to talk about a few today, is that it does not matter who your agent is, that regardless, you're just going to figure this out, you're going to buy a house, that person doesn't matter. This whole episode is really designed around the idea that it absolutely matters. The right agent is going to be involved in every step of the transaction and likely far afterwards. They represent you. And so you have to be sure that you trust them, that they have your best interest in mind, and that you are confident that you've chosen the right person for you.
Okay, so let's talk about who is the right agent for you. Well, first, let's start out with where are you looking? Geographically, where are you looking? We need to make sure that they have local market competency. So Keely and I are here in Dallas, Fort Worth. If you're not local, you might not know that Dallas, Fort Worth is huge.
Huge.
It would be a disservice of us to service somebody that's looking in Fort Worth or on the other side of Fort Worth. We're in Dallas proper. It's an hour drive one way. There's no way that we are going to be experts on the market way over in Fort Worth. It's really far. So it matters that they know the local geographic market.
Yeah, I had a call from a client trying to move from out of state the other day, and they said, we're looking in Dallas, Emory, and Sulphur Springs. And I said, okay, well, which of those are the main place that you're looking for, and what are you looking for? Because if you're going to look in Emory or Sulphur Springs, we need to get you an agent that's more familiar with those markets, more familiar with rural Texas. I work in Dallas and the northern suburbs for the most part. Now, that doesn't mean if you want to go a little bit west, we're not going to show you over there. It just means you have to understand that the majority of what we know is going to be right over here where we sell frequently.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's going to come down to them knowing just competency. What is this area like? What do people like about it? What resources are there for me there? And also, honestly, availability to get there quickly to show you anything.
Mm-hmm.
If it takes an hour and a half to get up to do a showing for you, that means we're going to be less agile in our schedule to be able to accommodate that showing. And so that's just real talk. Ask your realtor when you're interviewing them, where they work, where they sell homes, kind of where they're willing to go. And be concerned if it's super far away and they tell you, oh, I can totally handle it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you may consider, if your search is super small, if you're determined to buy in Sulphur Springs, that you want an agent that knows that market really well.
Mm-hmm. Also, what kind of property are you looking for? Maybe you just know that whether you're looking for a condo or a ranch property, those are very, very, very different things. And somebody who specializes in ranches, selling ranch properties, is probably not the same person that specializes in condos. Now, do you have to specialize in condos to represent somebody in the purchase of a condo? No. You definitely don't have to specialize in condos. But if your agent has never had experience selling a condo, let me just say it's a little bit different. There's some things that an agent needs to know to look out for. And the same goes for a ranch property. There's a lot of different nuances, things that are very different that you'll want them to know, because there's things that you as a buyer, you just don't know. There's so much that you just don't know that you would want your agent to know ahead of you.
A lot of this comes down to experience. And I don't just mean time in the job, because for realtors, that can be a big range, right? Someone may have held a license for 10 years and sold a couple homes. The opposite could be true, right? They could be an agent that's been an agent for a year and really have had a ton of experience in that time. So I wouldn't boil that down to years in the business, but more just how many deals have they done? Have they had experience with the type of property that you're looking for? You know, if you're looking at a new build house, do they know what it's like to handle a builder? Do they know how to navigate that specific contract process? talk to them about that, ask them about that. The reality of our job and the way that we see it on our side is that there's something new to be learned in every transaction. And so that's the reason that we recommend this is there are nuances to condos. There are nuances to new houses. I'm sure there are nuances to ranches, not my specialty, right? And there's a reason why, because I haven't done them and I don't feel educated enough to be able to protect you in the way that I should. And that's what that all comes down to. We want to have your best interest in mind, and we want to make sure that this transaction, this process, buying a house goes the best way that it can for you. And someone that's familiar with what you're looking for is going to be the best person for that.
I think the last final step in finding the agent that's the right fit specifically for you is, do you jive with their communication style? Are they going to be available and responsive to you? Do you love to text and prefer to text? And does your agent hate texting and maybe doesn't even know how to text? That might not be the right fit. So
yeah, that's something to consider.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you want them to be available because we know the amount of anxiety that can go into buying a house. And a lot of times, the faster we can respond to the text, the less the anxiety builds, I feel like sometimes. Yes. And so definitely make sure that you understand that they're going to be responsive to you. Customer service is one of the most important things about an agent, especially in this market today where we're needing to be quick to jump on homes. You need an agent who's going to be agile and willing to get out there quickly with you. You're going to need someone, especially as a first-time buyer, who can answer your questions effectively in a way that you understand. This agent may be incredibly knowledgeable, but just doesn't communicate in a way that jives with you, that really is answering your questions, that gives you confidence in how to take the next step. And you need somebody that's just going to be effective in their communication in a way that you prefer. And there's a lot of different agents, which is why finding the right one for you, is going to be easy enough.
I think going above and beyond and helping connect buyers to other vendors that they'll need along the process is very important too. And that's part of the customer service, is connecting them to a great inspector that the agent has already vetted, that they know and like and trust, and a great lender that they know and like and trust, and maybe a general contractor after they've moved in, etc. Part of the customer service and just going above and beyond. Look for somebody that's going to do those things for you.
Trust is huge. I think the biggest and most obvious thing that people look for in an agent is having market knowledge and having knowledge specifically about houses or condos or ranches or whatever you specifically are looking for. We as agents get to not only see a large variety of property over, consistently. We see it pretty much every day. We also have the privilege of attending a lot of inspections and getting to see things that are wrong on properties. And so when you're walking around looking at homes to potentially buy, we're here to help you have eyes on the property as you're showing. We're looking for the potential safety hazards or the large ticket items, right? You can figure out if you're going to, patch and paint a little nail hole, but we're really looking for the things that are going to make a big difference in your life as you'd think it would be in the home. And so those eyes and that attention to detail is very important.
Yep. Your agent should also be able to guide you through the whole process, the buying process from start to finish as a whole, in entirety, right? A good agent absolutely knows the contract inside and out. They know all the nuances to our Texas real estate promulgated contracts. They know what it means to you if XYZ happens. And if they don't know a specific answer, they know where to go to get the answer and are willing to do that quickly for you.
I think that's a really good point that you just brought up. I don't think that it is a sign of weakness when a realtor says, I don't know, but I'm going to find out for you, because that happens, on the daily for us. Like I said before, everything is different. Every situation is a little bit different in real estate, right? Even though we have high reps, we do this all the time. There are nuances that we need to navigate pretty frequently. And so someone that's going to be honest and say, hey, I don't know, but I really am going to find out and get back to you quickly so that we can help make sure that this is the best thing for you.
Mhm.
They're also going to really help you in analyzing the sales price, what you should offer on a house, what comparables are going for in the neighborhood, and what the range might be in terms of what you should pay for a house. Now, at the end of the day, you're going to be the one that decides what you want to pay. And that has a lot to do with your risk tolerance and how long you're going to be in the home and all of that. But they're going to help you with that financial analysis as well. Here in Texas, realtors are the only ones that have access to the sold price data. That's going to be different from state to state, but they're going to give you that access, give you that data so that we can look at it together and make an informed decision about what you should spend on a home.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And a good realtor should be your teammate on your investment. For most people, purchasing a home is probably one of the largest financial investments that you're going to make in your lifetime. And a realtor is a huge, huge part of that. So a good realtor is going to make sure that you know upfront what are all the costs that are going to be involved, because it's a whole lot more than just your down payment. Okay. So we want to protect you from any surprises. The absolute last thing that we want is for you to have a huge surprise on closing day or a couple days before closing day, and it's more expensive than you expect it to be. We want to avoid that at all costs. So make sure that you find somebody that's looking out for you in that regard.
Yeah, you want someone that's going to really manage and protect your budget, that's going to shoot you straight about what you can afford and whether what you're looking for is realistic. That's going to help you problem solve the right house for your budget, depending on, the things that are the must-haves for you. There are a lot of different options there. You may need to go, a little bit more suburban to be able to get something in your budget. You may want a condo instead of a house to get what really you're looking for. Someone that's going to be the best for you is going to really manage and protect that, because we don't want you to be house poor. We want you to be happy where you end up landing. And so that's extremely important to us. They're going to let you know, hey, I don't think this is realistic, in a gentle and kind way, and they're not going to push you just to buy something more expensive. That should be your call.
Mm-hmm. And be aware that the right agent is also going to help you do this through negotiation, right?
Mm-hmm.
A good agent loves to negotiate. This is maybe one of our favorite parts of
For
our
sure.
job. We have a lot of favorite parts
Yeah.
of our job, but this is one of our favorites. And Keely and I really feel like we are winning when we're negotiating and when we help you save. And just know that there are so many parts to the negotiation and the whole picture that are much more than just the dollar amount that we're negotiating on your behalf. And there are little bits here and there. Sometimes we have to lay it out and give something to the seller, because that means you actually getting the house versus not getting it. But we're protecting you in every single little nuanced part of the contract. And we really feel like we're winning in every small little bit that you might not even know about. So good agent's gonna be excited about that.
Yeah, and we're going to help you with laying out that strategy. If you really want their couch, we're not going to put that up front, right? We're going to help you figure out when in the process we're going to really bring that up and figure that out. If timeline's the most important, all those different things, we're really marrying what the seller is looking for, what you guys are looking for, with the primary focus being on what you're looking for and how to get that accomplished. Mm-hmm. And so that's exactly what we're going to do. That is going to be a main determining factor in getting your offer accepted, is the right agent putting on their little detective hat, which is what we love to say, calling the other agent, getting the research, looking at what's out there in the MLS, finding out what is going to make your offer the most attractive to that seller in a way that wins what's the best thing for you. So that marriage between what's best for you, what's best for the seller, is really the match that we're trying to make. Selling agents, just so you guys know, want to work with strong, competent buyer's agents. If your agent is a complete disaster at the beginning of the process, if they can't even just fill out the documents correctly, that's an indicator to the listing agent that this is going to be an extremely difficult process where it doesn't need to be. Now, of course, there are going to be moments where we're going to have to take them to the mat and hash things out for our clients. But really, the more professional and competent your buyer's agent is, the more attractive that is as a listing agent. And we've seen that as listing agents, where an offer looked very, very similar, and we would rather work with one of the agents because we know something's not just going to blow up because of incompetence on the part of an agent.
Yep. And we've definitely won won contracts for our buyers. I mean, we've had listing agents tell us before that we were apples to apples with another offer, and they chose us because we were the stronger agent and they knew that the process would go more smoothly. So all of that to say, it really does matter.
So you might be asking, okay, these are great questions to ask an agent, but how do I even find one in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
I think we would both say that referrals are the best way to get connected with an agent. Ask your friends, ask your family, ask around on social media. It's a great way to get connected, but definitely make sure to meet with them and ask questions because, as we said, this can be an extremely personal fit, and you want to make sure that your expectations are aligned in the process.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So okay, so I've met with them. Maybe I've gotten referred to two different agents. How do I choose between one, and when do I need to choose which agent I want to move forward with?
I mean, really, whenever you're willing to start your search, whenever you're willing to get off the couch after looking at Zillow, right? A good agent is going to then get you connected with a reputable local lender who's going to get you pre-approved, and then we're going to look at homes. So that's the steps. Get an agent, get a lender, get pre-approved, and then you can go look at homes. Absolutely, a good agent is going to ask you to work with one at a time. You're going to sign an exclusive representation document just saying that they owe you, especially in Texas, their advice and opinions, and you know that their fees are covered by the seller. Buyer's agents are free to you in the state of Texas, which is great news. And really working exclusively with one agent at a time is going to yield the best result. They're going to be your eyes and ears out in the marketplace, and they're going to make sure that your needs get met. Well, we hope this episode helps you choose the right realtor for you. We are passionate, as you can tell, about our role as agents, and it would be an honor to help you or your loved ones buy a home.
For more realtor-related info, go back and listen to episode 24, Could You Be a Realtor? As always, find us on Instagram at dallas.haven if you have more questions about choosing the right agent.